Motivation. Brought to you by Dealer Network Service, where our success is driven by your success. Motivation is the desire to act in service of a goal. It's the crucial element in setting and attaining our objectives. Motivation is one of the driving forces behind human behavior. It fuels competition and sparks social connection. Its absence can lead to mental illnesses such as depression. Motivation encompasses the desire to continue striving toward meaning, purpose, and a life worth living. Sources of motivation. People often have multiple motives for engaging in any one behavior. Motivation might be extrinsic, whereby a person is inspired by outside forces, other people or rewards. Motivation can also be intrinsic, whereby the inspiration comes from within, the desire to improve at a certain activity. Intrinsic motivation tends to push people more forcefully, and the accomplishments are more fulfilling. One framework used for understanding motivation is the hierarchy of needs proposed by American psychologist Abraham Maslow in 1943. According to Maslow, humans are inherently motivated to better themselves and move toward expressing their full potential, self-actualization, by progressively encountering and satisfying several levels of need from the most fundamental, such as for food and safety, to higher-order needs for love, belonging, and self-esteem. Eventually, Maslow extended the theory to include a need for self-transcendence. People reach the pinnacle of growth and find the highest meaning in life by attending to things beyond the self. Although the universality of Maslow's theory has been challenged, many believe it captures fundamental truths about human motivation. Where does motivation come from? Motivation can stem from a variety of sources. People may be motivated by external incentives, such as the motivation to work for compensation, or internal enjoyment, such as the motivation to create artwork in one's spare time. Other sources of motivation include curiosity, autonomy, validation of one's identity and beliefs, creating a positive self-image, and the desire to avoid potential losses. What is intrinsic motivation? Intrinsic motivation is a drive that comes purely from within. It's not due to any anticipated reward, deadline, or outside pressure. For example, people who are intrinsically motivated to run do so because they love the feeling of running itself, and it's an important part of their identity. Extrinsic motivation can increase motivation in the short term, but over time it can wear down or even backfire. By contrast, intrinsic motivation is powerful because it is integrated into identity and serves as a continuous source of motivation. What is extrinsic motivation? Extrinsic motivation is any reason someone does work other than the joy of doing the work itself. Anything promised for completing the task or received as a result of completing the task are extrinsic motivators. An extrinsic motivator needs three elements to be successful, according to research by psychologist Victor Vroom. Expectancy, believing that increased effort will lead to increased performance. Instrumentality, believing that a better performance will be noticed and rewarded. And valence, wanting the reward that is promised. How to increase motivation? Some people may find themselves completely stymied by a project. Others may simply want to pack a little more productivity into their timeline. No matter where motivation begins, there are always ways to increase it, whether that be your own motivation or someone else's. How can I feel more motivated? Sometimes you might feel completely unmotivated, and that's okay. In that situation, allow yourself to feel the discomfort, hear the negative self-talk, and then take action anyway. For example, let's say you come home after a long day at work and just want to unwind and watch TV. Instead of turning the TV on, acknowledge that you're tired and then challenge yourself to read 5 pages of the book on your nightstand first. This approach gives space for negative thoughts and feelings, while helping you change ingrained patterns. How can I stop procrastinating? Procrastination is often driven by underlying feelings of distress or anxiety elicited by a given task. But there are ways to navigate the discomfort and beat procrastination. You can break the project into small, more manageable pieces. Accomplishing one step will fuel your motivation for the next. You can set limits for the time spent preparing to begin or aim to complete tasks as quickly as possible. You can also set a reward that you'll get after completing the task or a part of it. How can companies motivate their employees? Companies have the opportunity to motivate employees with incentives, but they also need to be mindful that incentives can backfire. Employees are motivated by external rewards when they believe that working harder will lead to a better performance, that they'll be rewarded for a better performance, and they appreciate the reward, such as a bonus or time off. It can be difficult to meet those criteria. Will my hard work really be noticed? Does my contribution really matter since I'm on a large team? So companies should tailor incentives to each unique team and role. Brought to you by Dealer Network Service, where our success is driven by your success, offering training, vehicle service contracts, gap and total loss, appearance packages, lease wear and tear, DMS software and menus, financing.